Hi, good people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And kindly, if you have not subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can know when I'm posting the next video. This is a continuation from the last video, and I know that you're eager to hear what happened to me now when I started my college schooling. So I remember that time when I started doing my certificate. I remember I didn't have money. And I want to challenge somebody who is thinking that they cannot go to school, they don't have money. For me, I had only the vision. I didn't have even a single cent. And I remember that day I took just a paper. I didn't even have money to what do you call it, to print the papers. I wrote them with biros. I wrote them with my handwriting, and I decided that this is what I'm going to do. I am going to give these papers to everybody because I was working in a church. I had volunteered in a church. I gave to every member, my friends, relatives. I could give them like just a note, collecting money for me to go to school. And that's how I got the first installment of my school fees. And I remember actually I was encouraged by one person, and I can mention, thank you so much, Mr. Wanyama, because you are the one who encouraged me. I know yourself, you are from Harvest Center, Kangemi, and I know that you are the one who encouraged me to join that certificate course because you are the one who had brought it in our church. And when he encouraged me and I could tell him I don't have money, he just told me God will provide, and indeed God provided, because after I wrote those papers, I just met one person and told me, just do a little fads bribe just in the church, and I just did it, and that gave me only 22,000, and I needed almost 90,000 to do my higher diploma in counseling. And so I remember I took a step of faith, and that's why I am encouraging someone. Do not say that you are not going to school because you don't have money. One thing that I normally tell even the young people, when you manifest, people will invest in you, because I remember that time I had only 22,000 and I needed like 3 times that money, and I took that 22 and I went to the owner of the college, and I went to, her name was Madam Emma Gashinga, yeah. I still remember her. I went to her office in Westlands, and I told her, this is the only money that I have to join your life skill training program, to do my higher diploma in counseling. And she told me, I don't know what you have, but there's that thing that is connecting me to you. I want you to just join. You'll be looking for the other. Even if you have gotten 1,000, you bring, and I know you will finish to pay that money. And I went to school, and I could go, and I remember I could sometimes walk. You have to sacrifice. If you really need something, do not wait for bread and butter. You have to sacrifice. I remember I used even to walk sometimes from Kangemi to Westlands for me to go in that class. And I remember finally I graduated, but I still graduated with a balance. And when I graduated, okay, I didn't graduate actually. When I completed before the graduation, I could not be given the certificate because I had not cleared. And that time I somehow got discouraged, and I could say, now again, I have gone to school, I have done very well. I remember even the teacher who marked my research said, oh, you have done a research like that of a degree person. You are doing very good. Because when I am to do something, I try to do my best. And that teacher told me, don't worry, God will provide for you. You will go far. And indeed, after that time, I went to stay with the bishop, and that bishop one day to ask me about my life, and I told her, and she gave me, she managed to clear for me that school fees so that I can go do get my certificate for higher diploma in counseling. And so that time, by the time she was paying that, guess what had happened? And this is the reason I have done this video, because I want to tell you, when God is guiding your steps, you will succeed in your career. You will succeed even in everything that you want to do, because now I'm about to enter in university in a miraculous way. Remember, in a university, before you enter, they have to ask you your Form 4 grade. Remember, I told you I didn't get a grade that could place me in a university. Again, they ask you, what have you been doing? But you know, by that time I had no paper to show. And so I remember that day, I remember the bishop was living with a young man in their house, and that young man was going to join Pan-Africa Christian University. And so I went there. We drove her to the school. We were escorting her to go do her orientation SAT exam. And so when I went there, oh my God, I was out there, and I don't know what I felt when I entered in the gate of Pan-Africa University. At the gate, I just stood and I could see how beautiful it was. And I said, God, one day I will be in such a university. Little did I know what God had a plan for me. Guess what? I saw them going to do the exam because we escorted him. When they went to the room to do the exam, there was a man standing at the door. Now the one who was watching over them as they do the exam. And I asked the bishop who were with, can I go do the exam? He told me, yeah, let me take you. He took me, and do you know, the registrar agreed. I told the registrar I can do it even for fun, so that I can just feel that I sat on a desk of a university. Oh my God, when I did that exam, I got everything, 100 and over 100. Guess what? That registrar looked at me and told me, who are you? Have you ever desired to go to university? I said, yes. He told me that now count yourself in a university. He told me, when your brother, because he thought the one who was doing an exam was my brother, when your brother is being brought, come with him. That's how I joined Pan-Africa Christian University without even an application letter. Sometimes we limit ourselves, dear good people. Do you know? We limit ourselves, yet God has already planned for you. He has planned for you, because it is not about even the money you have. It's your desire. It's your passion for what you want to do. It's your desire, and you present it to God. Guess what? When I joined that registrar, I thank God for Mr. Mwaneki, the registrar then of Pan-Africa Christian University, for supporting me so much. I remember he could tell me, if you don't have even a soap, come for it. If you don't have anything, you come and tell me. And I joined the university even without school fees. Let me tell you the truth. I went by faith. And when I went there, I told them, don't worry, right now I don't have, but I will do a fundraising with when I'm in the university, and I know I will get that money. And indeed, I did the first fundraising, and it didn't give me much, but at least it placed me in the university for the first semester. And as time went by, I started getting scholarships. I was given the scholarship by churches. I was given scholarships. I could even Google scholarships, because the scholarships are there. You have to Google, just do research, and you will go to school. And I remember at a time when I came to the second year now, I didn't have school fees, and I remember that time we could not do an exam without an exam card. And I remember that time when I was told not to do the exam, I just I just took that paper that I was given. I remember, first of all, because I had a classmate who was a pastor. We were doing ministry with her. I went to her and I told her, this is the letter they have given me. I remember that woman of God. I thank God for Evangelist Lucy Wangojiri. May God bless you for praying for me that time. I remember she really encouraged me, even being in school. At times I could even lack school fees, and maybe she could pay for me 1 unit. And another time I could even lack food. When you were in the university, that time the cafeteria was run by the university. And sometimes I have a big balance. They tell me, now you will not eat in the cafeteria anymore, because I was in the hostel, because your fees is going up and up. And I remember this woman of God, I could go to her car and she could carry pancakes in her car. And I used to go to her car and eat from there. And I thank God for her. May God bless you, Evangelist Lucy Wangojiri. Another thing that happened right there in the university, when the balance was still too much, I remember I was still prayerful, and I was telling God, this thing, I have to do it. I have to see one time. I have to see myself graduated with a degree. And I remember that time they said that I am not going to do the exam. And a friend of mine, because for her she had paid school fees, she told me, by the way, Hope, just take me to the office. And let me tell you, God can do things miraculously, because I escorted her to go get her exam card. And as I was waiting in the reception, I remember seeing the vice chancellor. That time he was a Canadian, just going out for a breeze. And he saw me, because other people were in the classes doing exams and others in the library. So there were no students that were allowed to be at the administration block at that time. So he asked me, Hope, what are you doing there? You are supposed to be in library revising for the exam. What are you doing there? Then I ran upstairs and I went and gave him his story. And he was touched, and he told me, I know you, I have been seeing your behavior. You have been, I used to be very even active in indoor games. I remember I had some medals for that. And so he knew me even as he could see me go pray in the chapel. And I had a good behavior in school. So he said that from today, I will be paying your school fees. Can you imagine? I was in the university, and the one who was paying my school fees was our vice chancellor. I thank God for that. And that's why you should not be discouraged. Do you want to go to school? You just step by faith. Whatever you have the little, go. Tell them you really have that desire. I believe you. They are not going to tell you go back, because we serve a God. If it is God who has directed you to do that, believe in God, and God is going to do a miracle for you. So that is how God gave me a miracle, and I managed to do my counseling. Then after I graduated, I remember after graduation, I just went like any other person, and I was working in the church. And I continued being in the church, doing the work of the ministry and even counseling. I continued serving the humanity. And I had this desire of doing community development, and I didn't know where to begin. But I remember I just had that desire, and I said, I'm just going. First of all, I wanted to continue doing my master's in family and marriage. And so I went to Pan-African Christian University again, and I applied, and they took me. But for that week, I could see the money that I had, I could see if it is over, I know I will not be able to continue. And I didn't know, if God had done something for you, don't think that he will repeat it again. He will give you another direction. So I just thought, maybe because this money can be enough for another program, I think I should do that, because I had always desired to do community development. And the moment I took the step of faith, I applied for that course of community development and social work. Guess what? Somebody a friend of mine was touched. He just asked me what I do, and I told him, and do you know what? By God's grace, that man of God has paid for my school fees, everything, and I have cleared the university without a balance. That is the God that we serve. I want to thank God for Mr. Teng, wherever you are. May God bless you for supporting me this far. And I know that this is not the end. My desire was also to continue with my master's, and I know I will get it, because the God who has been with me, I have given you my story from nursery school until today. I know that God is not a respecter of any person. If you're there and you want to go to school, let not anything stop you. The person who said that I need only a can to go and pick coffee because he had seen my hopelessness. Today, he is very, very, very happy that he has a niece who is learned, not having one degree. But I believe that I am getting even more and more and more. I'm not stopping there. Be encouraged and know that you can make it. Let me give you some tips. When you desire to do something, concentrate, make it a priority. For me, I know even people who live with me are wondering what is happening, because these are the few days they have heard about my celebrations. But I have been locking myself in the house, doing my homework. They only see a lady with a school bag, and they never had me doing anything, talking anything, because I desired to concentrate. Some of my family members have been wondering, where has she been? But if you want to get good grade, good GPA, because for me, I don't believe in only graduating, but I believe even in getting a good grade, a grade that can take you to the next level. And I thank God that has happened. Don't be discouraged because you don't have money. Just believe in God. The God who have done it for me, he will do for you. Amen. Thank you.